Even as a complete beginner, you can start making $100 per day using Webull with no prior experience. There are a ton of videos online claiming to show you how to do this, but they don't show you an actionable strategy, or it's way too technical. That's why in this video, we're going to lay out how to actually make money on Webull, which I've been doing for over 2 years now, and I actually just put my dad onto this as well, and he's got very little investing experience. I'd recommend taking notes today because we're going way beyond basic things like just invest for the long term with actionable steps you can take right now. Seeing success with trading and investing can grow your portfolio exponentially and earn you well beyond $100 a day, but it can also leave you more broke than before. We're gonna make sure that doesn't happen to you by positioning yourself with the upper hand, just like a casino has the upper hand over a gambler. And that's why choosing the right strategy is so important. Step 1 is to sign up for a brokerage account. Webull's currently offering up to 40 free fractional shares of stock for signing up and depositing to kick off your trading and investing. We're using Webull for this strategy because it simplifies the process and offers great tools for beginners. And as an extra benefit of using the link in the description below, Webull has also lowered the amount of money you need to deposit to earn those free shares as part of the sign-up bonus, so don't miss out on those if you're going to use Webull also. Okay, so after months of research, I noticed that winning strategies successfully check off 3 key questions. 1, does the strategy stack the odds of winning in your favor? 2, is it low risk with medium to high reward? Not too conservative, but not too risky. 3, once you learn it the first time, is it easy to repeat again and again? The strategy I found checks off each of those questions, and this is known as selling a covered call option, which you'll see how to make money with in a second. With a few examples, it's easy to understand and it has the power to lower your risk to almost nothing. First though, let's make sure we understand what an option is. This might sound confusing at first, especially if you're new to this, and that's okay. Bear with me through a few definitions, then we'll use examples you're already familiar with so it all makes sense. Right now, just focus on writing these down so you can refer back to them as we move through the video. We'll then walk through selling a covered call option in a My account so you can see how achievable $100 a day with this is. So what is an option? An option is simply a contract between 2 people. One person buys a right from another to buy or sell stock at a specific price by a certain date. Here's the good news. You can be the one selling this right and you can get paid for it. This payment is called a premium in the options world. Now let's clear up 2 important prices. You have the stock share price and the option contract price. The share price is what it costs to buy 1 share of stock, just like buying a single item from the store. The option contract price, or premium, is what you pay or receive for the right to buy or sell stock later. You can kind of think of this like a reservation fee. Now, there are 2 types of options: calls and puts. Today, we're focusing on calls because they're the backbone of the strategy we're using to make $100 per day. So we have the definition of an option, but what's a call option? Remember, just focus on writing these down right now. Everything else will make sense shortly. So a call gives the buyer of the option the right, but not the requirement to buy shares of stock from the seller of the option at an agreed price on or before a specific date. The agreed price is called the strike price, and the specific date is called the expiration date. Each option contract represents 100 shares of stock, so when someone buys 1 call option, they're actually buying the right to purchase 100 shares of stock at the strike price. To have this right though, the buyer must pay a fee known as a premium to the seller of the contract. This can all be done through your brokerage account, and today we're gonna do it on Webull for a few important reasons you'll see in a minute. Now that was an overwhelming amount of information. Just remember that an option contract has a strike price, an expiration date, and a premium. And when you buy a call option, you're getting the right to buy someone else's shares at a specific price. Let's tie all of this together with an example you already understand. Imagine you want to see a movie on a specific day, but you're not sure if you'll be able to go yet. Normally, you just buy the ticket right before the movie, but what if you're worried it will sell out? Well, you'd pay a fee to buy the ticket up front, reserving the option to see the movie later if you're free. In this example, you are the buyer of the option and the theater is the seller. By buying the ticket up front, you have the right to go see the movie, but you don't have to. The fee you paid for the ticket is the premium in the options world. If you can't make it, no problem, you just don't go, but you also don't get your money back. The theater keeps the fee and you keep your flexibility. So just like with the movie, if someone buys a call option, they're paying for the right to buy stock, but they don't have to. They just don't get their money back in exchange for that flexibility. Now, what if you were the one selling the option and earning the premium, just like the theater? Someone else is paying the premium and you collect that money no matter what, just like the theater with that non-refundable movie ticket. Well, you can, and the cool part about this strategy is that even if the buyer decides not to buy your stock, you still keep the premium, just like the theater keeps the ticket fee even if you decide to not go to the movie. And this right here is the key to being the house in the stock market, just like a casino. You're giving someone the right to buy your stock at a specific price, but many times it doesn't make sense for them to do so, and you still keep the premium either way. So if they don't use the option, you keep the premium and your shares of stock. Now, if they do use the option, you sell your stock to them, but you still keep the premium. The best part, you can set the trade up to be profitable whether you're required to sell your shares or not. So how does this work in a real situation? Say you own 100 shares of Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage stock, a very valuable company. The stock is currently trading at $50 per share, but when you bought it, it was trading at $30 per share. So the price you paid for each of those 100 shares is $30. One day, after watching this video, you decide you want to make even more money from your investments. You log into Webull and head to the options section for Jones Barbecue stock. You find out that you could earn $112 by selling a covered call option with a strike price of $55, also known as the price the option buyer will pay you in exchange for your shares. This option contract has an expiration date in 7 days. If you had to, you would be okay with selling your shares at $55 each, so you move forward with selling the covered call and $112 instantly shows up in your account. You can then use that money to buy more stock, withdraw it to your bank account, or leave it on Webull to earn interest. The point is, it's your money instantly and you can do whatever you want with it. Now, let's look at two possible scenarios after 7 days pass and the option contract expires. In scenario 1, you log into Webull and Jones Barbecue stock has fallen to $47 per share. This is great news because the option expired worthless, meaning you won't have to sell your shares. The stock's price fell, so it didn't make sense for the buyer of the option to buy your shares. This means you get to keep your 100 shares of stock and the $112 premium, and you can turn around and immediately sell another call option for even more premium. Now let's look at scenario 2. In scenario 2, Jones Barbecue stock has risen to $60 per share. Even though the current stock share price is $60, the option buyer has the right to buy our shares at $55 a piece. After buying them from you, they immediately sell them at the market price of $60, profiting from the difference between 55 and 60. In both scenarios, you keep the $112 premium, but in scenario 2, you had to sell your 100 shares. Now you may wonder, why wouldn't you just hold on to your shares and sell them yourself at $60 versus $55? Well, here's why. You can set up the trade to where you earn a premium without needing to sell your shares most of the time. And even if you do have to sell, you can set up the trade to profit no matter what. To understand how, let's jump into Webull and take a look at a real stock. Now, before we place a real trade to see how this strategy can make money for you, as a beginner, you may feel anxious about jumping into this with no experience. Well, this is part of why we're using Webull in this video. You can try out this strategy and make as many mistakes as possible completely risk-free, thanks to a feature known as paper trading. This is the best feature a beginner could ask for because you can create a simulated portfolio and practice as much as you want without consequence if you mess up. It's super beginner friendly as you can start off your account with as little as $1 or as much as $100 million. It's up to you. I recommend this for everyone because practicing even a little bit each day can make you nearly unstoppable as long as you stick with it. Once you've chosen how much cash to start with, you can search for stock to practice on by clicking the paper trade button in the bottom of the screen, then entering the stock or company name. Let's pull up Nvidia as an example. Everything you see here mirrors real stock market data, and you can place risk-free stock and option trades while learning how they work. Now that you've seen how to practice without risk, let's jump into a live trade and you'll see how powerful this strategy can be and how you can make $100 per day with it. We're going to sell a covered call option on Tesla stock. Exiting the paper trade feature, we'll enter TSLA in the search bar and then pull up the stock. On the chart, we'll head to the options section, and what you see here is known as the options chain. This probably looks really overwhelming, and that's completely okay. Let's focus on the key parts you need to know to get started. As you gain more experience, you'll learn to dive deeper, but this will set a solid foundation. For now, ignore everything outside of this box. Each row here represents an expiration date, which is when the option contract ends. For example, you'll see option contracts expiring on November 8th, 2024, November 15th, and so on. Today, we're going to sell a covered call option expiring on November 22nd, 2024. After selecting that date, a list of option contracts will appear. Each row represents a different contract you can buy and sell, each with its own strike price and premium. Tesla's current share price is about $266, so let's go ahead and sell the option with the strike price of $315. This is the price the buyer of the option will have the right to buy our shares at when we sell this. One reason we're choosing this one is because if I were required to sell my shares, $315 is well above my average price per share of $195 when I bought the stock originally. So if I were required to sell my shares, I would profit no matter what. And this is the power of selling covered call options. You can set up the trade to profit in almost any scenario. Now, how do you know how much premium you can earn? Well, that's where you'll want to pay attention to the next number shown, and that is the price in the mid column. The option contract we're going to sell has a premium of about $4.05, but since each option contract represents 100 shares, the premium we would earn here would be 4.05 multiplied by 100 for a total of $405. Let's take a second here. By selling this contract, we'll immediately earn $405, which we can use for anything we want. Not only that, but if I'm required to sell my shares, it's a guaranteed profit because we chose the $315 strike price, $120 per share more than the $195 I paid for Tesla stock originally. Now, imagine if you owned 200 shares and you sold 2 covered calls for double the premium. You'd earn over $800, which is as good as cash, and you'd have a guaranteed profit on the sale of your stock. That is, if you even have to sell it. I'm happy with the strike price, so let's sell it. I'm gonna click the contract, make sure sell is selected, and then under limit price, I'm going to click mid, which is now at $4 even versus 4.05. And remember, this is actually $400 because you have to multiply it by 100 shares. We'll leave contracts as 1. And then towards the bottom of the screen, you'll see that my account will be credited $400 when this trade goes through. So you can see just how powerful this strategy can be for making $100 a day and why so many investors love it. But as with any strategy, there are key points you must know before getting started. First, never buy a stock just for the premium. You want to make sure you're investing in companies you believe in for the long term. If the stock price drops, you don't want to be stuck holding it. On the other hand, if you're happy to hold a stock and the price drops, any short-term dips will not be as big of a deal. Second, to use this strategy, you'll need to own 100 shares of a stock. Don't worry if this sounds like a lot, even if you can't yet make $100 per day selling covered calls, the fact that you're investing your way to that goal in and of itself is something you should be super excited about. Third, if you're required to sell your shares, the stock might go even higher after you sell. While it's great that you're locking in a profit either way, you may miss out on even more upside. That's why choosing the right strike price and expiration date is so important, along with other key details which we cover in this video here.